most talked about names in the news for the last few weeks, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Now, amongst some of the reporting that Fox is out with this morning, they have sources confirming that he was pulled over driving an SUV belonging to a confessed human smuggler. And sources are confirming documents reported by Just the News that revealed that he was pulled over driving an SUV belonging to Jose Ramon Hernandez Reyes, who confessed to being part of a human smuggling operation. So that's just one of the headlines this morning when it comes to, as people start to dig a little more deeply into his background. Perhaps the most concerning, though, is what we're learning about, and I'm going to read this to you right from the reporting from Fox earlier this morning. Court records involving Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez, have shown that he is a violent, repeat wife beater. Fox News obtained the written domestic violence allegations filed in court against Abrego Garcia by his wife in 2021. In the filing, written in Vasquez's own handwriting, she alleges that Abrego Garcia repeatedly beat her, writing, "At this point, I am afraid to be close to him. I have multiple photos, videos of how violent he can be and all the bruises that he left me." She then alleges that Abrego Garcia punched and scratched her eye, left her bleeding, and threw her laptop on the floor. She wrote that on another day, Abrego Garcia got angry, started yelling, and ripped her shirt and shorts off before grabbing her arm and leaving marks. Vasquez recalled 2 times in the year 2020 that Abrego Garcia hit her. In November of 2020, she wrote, "He hit me with his work boot." In August of 2020, he hit me in the eye, leaving a purple eye. So it's a situation where, there is a debate going on as to how much of a fight Democrats want to have with the Trump administration over this whole case, with some questioning whether or not it's a winning strategy, particularly after some high-profile visits, starting with Senator Chris Van Hollen. And, of course, those pictures then were released. But there is for example, one congressman, a Democrat out of Florida, says this is about due process. I think they're trying to maybe create a little bit of a divide between the man and the process, and some wonder whether or not due process will be an argument that will really hit home. But boy, when Fox came out with this report earlier this morning, it does have that new information, that he was driving that vehicle that belonged to a confessed human smuggler. But then you dig deeper into the story, and there appears to be some very unsavory parts of his background that are coming forward now that are really causing some people to think about the whole situation. So that is one of our stories this morning that we are following on Fox 10 Talks. I'm Ron Hoon. Thanks for starting your day with us. Syleste is going to be in just a couple of minutes. This will be her chair right there. Oh, hold on a moment. Now that's like the perfect introduction, Syleste. I'm going to bring up your microphone. We're back in our friendly in our streaming studio.
I know, doesn't it feel like home?
It really does.
Oh my goodness, we're back home after a long vacay.
Right. And look, there's Camelback off in the distance, this glorious city that we all call home. Anyway, all set, ready to go. We got plenty to talk about.
All right, let's go, buddy.
All right, we have this story that, President Trump goes on to social media earlier this morning. And, he knows everybody's going to see it and everybody's going to talk about it, but it was a personal message and, frankly, a warning to the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, as part of what he posted. There you can see Ukraine and Russia, and there's Crimea. So apparently, as part of the proposal, Crimea would become Russian territory, which Russia has actually claimed it since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And but Volodymyr Zelensky says, we will never give that up. So it sets up an almost a very difficult situation to resolve between the U.S. and Russia in these negotiations and Ukraine, because they don't want to give up any territory. But the post from the president is Vladimir. He uses only his first name. Vladimir, stop in all caps. I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary and very bad timing. And if you haven't heard about that part of the whole thing, there were drone and missile attacks overnight on the capital city of Kyiv. When you're attacking a city, you're attacking human targets, not military targets. You know that damage is going to be done to people's homes and livelihoods, possibly to their children. The report we have, almost 10 people reported killed. 9 was the last number that we had, and dozens injured, including a number of children. And people are trying to figure out, Celeste, are the Russians serious about wanting to have peace? Because at the same time, you know, that they've been talking about peace talks, they launched the deadliest attack on Kyiv since summer of 2024.
Yeah,
overnight.
I think there was 63 people injured. I think that was as of last check. Of course, that number is probably going to rise here today.
Right.
And even potentially the number of people killed.
Right.
It leads you to believe maybe there's something else that we don't know. There's conversations that had been had, or something that has fallen through the cracks. We're missing some information. Maybe there's something else that has been withheld in terms of information. Like, why?
Right.
You know?
I know. I mean, President Trump has been saying that he just wants peace. He wants the killing to stop between these two nations. Everybody knows Russia invaded Ukraine. It wasn't the other way around. They started this. And so now we're in a situation where, unfortunately, we're starting to see death tolls go back up again. And I'm always curious, Celeste, at about 20 minutes till on TV, I launch the poll question every morning, right? So let's pull it up. We had 50 votes at that time. Here we are about a half hour later. And look at this. We're now approaching 200 votes. And here's what it looks like. And this is today's poll question. What do you say? Keep the peace talks going. I trust what the president's trying to do. 18%. 36% say, look, get out of Ukraine now. It's not our fight. But now an even larger number, this is now the number one option. 38% saying, even with a deal, Russia can't be trusted. So there's a lot of skepticism out there as a result.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are wondering what's next.
Right.
It's, after something like this happened, when you were hoping peace talks were taking place, when you were hoping some type of resolution would happen, it leads you to believe, okay, well, maybe we were off track and we really don't know what's next.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it looks like not the majority, but the largest number of our viewers are just highly skeptical of Russia's intentions.
Yes.
So you can certainly vote in our poll question. We hope you will here on Fox 10 Talks. If you're watching us on YouTube, it's super simple. Celeste, tell everybody, if they're watching on YouTube, how do they go vote in that poll question?
So it's at the very top of the chat box.
Okay.
There's a link there. You just press on that link and you can comment there as well.
Okay.
Which I love. I love that is right there, because otherwise it can be a little difficult to find on the scattered place known as YouTube. It's oversaturated at times.
So. Scattered.
YouTube just had a big birthday yesterday.
I know. Happy 20th birthday.
Years.
I've never seen that very first video, by the way, that was very first posted by one of the original founders. They went to a local zoo.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should have that founder on. Or the guy that was standing in front of the elephants.
Correct.
And we should have him on, and he can tell us about if he ever thought that first video that was posted, would it ever, in his wildest dreams, did he think that something like this would happen?
How about this? Remember when you and Gary were deciding to start a family?
I do remember.
Okay. How's this for a smooth transition?
Okay, nice, Ron.
Would you have sped up the process if you knew you were going to get a $5,000 check in the mailbox?
Not necessarily.
You really wouldn't have said, let's get started earlier?
Ron, since we're kind of in the circle of trust here, I got pregnant on our honeymoon. So we weren't waiting anyway.
Oh, I gotcha. All right, fine. Well, Ron's
turning red and he's sweating now.
No,
he's not sure.
I'm just enough of a cheapskate that I think I probably would have said, "All right, honey, come on." When we were newlyweds, for $500, I know 5,000 is a tremendous amount of money, but that's the proposal. The president has been talking about it. Some estimates put the average cost. I'm always skeptical of this. For some reason, it always feels like it's somewhere around $18,000 to $20,000 a year to raise a child. And I remember back in the 80s when I didn't have much of a salary. And I was doing the math on that, and I'm like, if whoever it is comes out with that survey and claims this, and we had 3 kids, they're saying it would take more money to raise 3 kids than my entire salary. And I'm like, I'm sure we have money for, a vacation. Going to a Suns game now and then, put gas in the car.
I know. But there's nothing that replaces having a baby.
Yeah,
or even if, you adopt a baby, there's nothing that can replace growing your family.
Yeah.
And then they get into middle school and then they talk back and you're like, hold on a second. Let me rethink what happened.
Yeah.
What happened?
I remember a lady tapping me on the shoulder once at church.
Yes.
And she said, "Isn't your oldest daughter about to have a birthday?"
Oh,
and
she remembers.
I said,
good memory.
Yes. She's going to be 13. And she said, "Well, here it goes, but you'll get through it." And I'm like, suddenly with fear and trepidation. Okay, how difficult is raising teenagers? Our kids were pretty good, but I mean, everybody's got their challenges.
Everybody does,
right?
And it's like we all go through it.
Yeah,
we all go through it. Except now we have Life 360, which means I'm tracking my teenager at 11:30 at night.
Really? Where were they?
On their way home. I'm
Thank
like, how
goodness for
fast
that.
were you going?
Oh.
It can track the speed you're driving.
Oh, my gosh.
Also.
Okay.
And it has a little race car with fire out coming out the back. It's a little startling at first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, this is the proposal. The president says he likes the sound of it. We'll see where it goes. That's for sure. Hey, let's show you the mystery cam. Now, that has...
Wow, already?
Doesn't it have relaxation written all over it?
I'm going to say Hawaii.
I think I will too.
Yeah, I love this shot.
By the way, we are in our back in our comfortable studio. We are reading your comments on just about everything. Give us your guesses on this, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right. We do have some guesses, Ron, on the
Yes.
chat.
Okay.
We have Angela Brockelman. This is a good one. She says the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a really good guess.
Well, the travel TV icon is up there, and I think they're all over the world, so it could absolutely be that.
What about Florida from B. Miguel,
Yes.
California from Louis Gonzalez? Thank you all for chiming in and sharing your thoughts. We also have a Florida from Susan Anthony.
I keep meaning to ask Susan if her middle initial is B.
That's a good question.
I hope it is, right? Susan B. Anthony.
That is a great question. Also,
What's your middle name, Susan, if you want to share?
A quick shout out, Ron. I was just sharing with you about Husky Mom.
Yes, right.
On the air today, I kind of gave her a shout out because I said I loved her name, Husky Mom. She said yesterday, remember we had the conversation, we were talking about books.
Yeah.
She said she purchased a book. It's an autobiography. She purchased it yesterday. So maybe if you all are, so inclined, you're excited to start reading some books. The written word, Ron, the written word. It's an autobiography. It's called The Blind Woodsman. And so she said, future guest, a question mark. So maybe, I don't know, we got to read the book.
Okay.
Yes.
That is for sure. Okay, so any other guesses, or are you ready to make yours?
Marissa Mendoza says Florida.
Okay.
And Linda Monter says she believes it's Hawaii. I'm going to go Hawaii as well. What about you?
Okay, I am going to go Hawaii because I see those Florida guesses, but I feel like Florida is so flat that it barely even has hills like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think probably Hawaii.
Okay,
One person on here, let me think and see who it was, thought they knew right where. Can you back up a little bit?
It's Richard Couples, Coconut Island in Hilo, Hawaii, he says. Coconut Island. So if it is Richard, Coconut Island,
all right,
we're
Richard.
all going. Oh, nice work, Hilo.
Oh, it is. Okay, Richard.
Okay, well
Very
done,
nice.
Richard.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Susan jumped back on and said, my middle name is Carol. So she's
C.
Susan C. Anthony.
One letter off.
She says, I came a little after Susan B.
That's brilliant.
Sure.
So while we're giving a lot of you kind of some quick shouts out, thank you for sharing part of your day with us. And let us know if you're new to the feed. We always love to hear from people, where they're watching from. And here's Ron, our friend Rick D'Amico.
Oh.
I was chatting with him this morning on Twitter.
Yeah.
He was at the car dealership, or not Twitter, on my phone. And anyways, he getting some car work done, regular maintenance.
Yes, sure.
But they had at the Acura North Scottsdale, they had Fox 10 on.
Oh, is that right?
So thank you.
Yes.
And I think he's chiming in to watch us today on the stream.
Is he gonna, Rick? If you're there, buddy, we absolutely. It's so often I still hear from people.
Yes.
Who remember when it was Rick and me in Alona.
Yeah.
And then let's see, some of our others. There was.
I always remember the promo with you three.
Yes.
Wasn't it Alona?
Ron, Rick, and Alona, Fox 10, Arizona.
That's it. I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Andrea.
Yes.
And
Kristen.
many other of our, and Kristen. Oh, Rick's the greatest. All right. Well, we hope he pops on for sure. Look at that. Already, RLS Vids is like, Rick, they're saying hi to you, buddy.
Yes.
Okay. So, Celeste, it is that time of year that we have to remind people, if you're out hiking, look, Paloma Community Park. If you're not from the north part of the valley, you might not be familiar with it, but we had a bee attack, a really serious bee attack.
Oh, my goodness.
That put, right there, a husband and wife in the hospital. And here's a little bit more. They were, there was a swarm of Africanized honeybees that went after them at that park in Peoria. Karen and Jeremy Pierce were out there hiking. They got attacked. And between the two of them, Celeste, they were stung 100 times.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So Jeremy's allergic to bees. So he had his EpiPen with him. Thank goodness.
Good, yeah.
And eventually they were released from the hospital. But it's that time of year you got to be especially careful when you're out there hiking.
I mean, if you think about it, there are a lot of predators. There's a lot out there.
Yes, right.
You have the bees.
Yeah.
They're going to come after you. You have the bobcats.
Okay.
You have the rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
The Gila monsters.
Have you ever seen like a snake or a Gila monster when you're out hiking, when you're out in the wilderness in Arizona?
I actually haven't. And
Yeah.
thank goodness, knock on wood,
Right.
I have not even seen a live scorpion. And I'm
in your entire life?
I'm an Arizona girl. I know.
There's a guy out in my part of town, out in Mesa, who's been putting up signs. I'll get rid of all your scorpions or pay you $500.
Wow. Pay you.
Yeah. How about that? That's a pretty good camp. I don't know who it is.
They say it's really hard to get rid of scorpions.
Yeah. Well, so when we used to live in the kind of the Orange Grove area there around Falcon Field, we got scorps all the time. I mean, I think I was stung about 4 different times.
What does it feel like?
Celeste, I'm so glad you asked. Now you're going to think I'm a tough guy. Ready? The very first time I was out, I was wrapping up a hose. It was late at night. I didn't have my flip-flops on.
Okay.
And I actually thought I stepped on a nail.
Oh.
And that it went straight up through my foot. I mean, the pain was so instantaneous. I just couldn't believe how painful it was.
So it was a nail.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like.
It felt like a nail.
Yeah. Ron in flip-flops is a vision, by the way.
Which, by the way, if you ever see me outside of the studio here, that's pretty much what I'm going to be wearing. That's for sure. Hey, did you hear what happened overnight where there was one item that went up for sale online and it crashed so many websites that people were getting really frustrated?
Wow.
Did you hear about this?
No.
So, have you heard of the Nintendo Switch?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do you have one in your home?
We do not.
Okay. There's now a new Nintendo Switch 2. And so overnight, I guess last night was when you could get on. Maybe it was a midnight deal. I'm not sure. But it crashed the website of Target and Best Buy.
Oh, wow.
During pre-orders. I guess people are trying to buy it as soon as it's available because they're not sure with the tariffs,
Well, not just that, but I think when it comes to gaming, it's a big deal to a lot of people.
Okay.
So you want the latest console because when, MLB 2025 or, NFL 2025 comes out on any of those consoles, you want to be the first to play, and then everybody talks about it at school, and it's kind of like a thing,
I wonder if because you get to play those like Madden games and NFL games and now even the college game, if that makes people maybe more interested in the draft that's going to be happening tonight, which in the next segment we're going to be telling you where and most likely what will be happening with Cam Skattebo.
Oh, Ron, what do you think?
Well, I hear the Detroit Lions love him, and the Lions are like a Super Bowl contending team.
They are.
I think he'd be happy there. The Cardinals reportedly like him too.
Yeah, but they're 16th, right? 16th pick?
Correct.
I'm hoping he goes before then.
See, here's the thing.
You don't think?
Well, I'm sort of shocked, but I've looked at a lot of mock drafts. I don't see him tonight in the first round.
Oh, that's
in the mock drafts that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But I hope he proves them wrong because he already proved the so-called experts wrong when they thought ASU didn't have a chance against Texas and they almost beat them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ron, real quick, let me go here to the chat.
Sure.
They're talking. There's a lot of chatter about the bees.
Oh, okay.
And about the bee stings.
Right.
And about scorpion stings. So someone said, would you rather get stung by a bee or a scorpion?
Ooh.
That's your choice.
I would say
if you want to chime in.
I've been bee stung and scorpion stung.
And you would say bee.
Oh, by a long shot.
And we do have, listen to what happened with Shelly Vidal. Shelly, thank you for sharing your story. She says, the last time I got stung by a bee, I did have a reaction, but I shoved my arm into a huge, gigantic tub of ice, and it stopped. I never got tested, but she wonders if she's actually potentially allergic to bees.
Oh,
which could be the case, potentially.
Yeah, you got to really watch that.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm glad you're okay.
That's pretty much our bee talk for today, but just be careful. If you're out there on these trails, and a lot of people, this is springtime. It's maybe 95 during the day is maybe a little, but in the morning, it's perfect.
Oh, my goodness. That hike on a Piestewood, like sunset.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. So we're very happy to relate to you that the plan for PV, they don't even call it the PV Mall anymore. The Paradise Valley Mall is phase 1 has opened. And I don't know, Celeste, do you drive past this area?
Oh, yeah. This is my hood. I hang here a lot.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, they're opening a bunch of new restaurants. There's apparently a Whole Foods. I'm looking around, trying to make sure. Okay, so what is under construction and what is there's a Sephora.
Ron,
we need more Sephoras. I was just thinking
a pretty
that
big
the
one
other
too.
day. We need a lot more Sephoras. Anyway, they, Whole Foods, Sephora, a bunch of restaurants, Blanco, Flower Child, and more. And they're totally, just like they're going to be doing with Metro Center, they're totally turning it around.
You know, I have to say, when you're driving through there, you have the Sephora right next door. You got the Whole Foods across the way. You got the Flower Child. You got the Blanco. But you have this great, like, green space that's right nearby. And you see a lot of people from the neighborhoods in and around that area walking their dog, walking their kids with the stroller. And it seems like a friendlier and more family-friendly Scottsdale quarter.
I heard that they are actually going to do some movies in the park.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
On, like maybe summer evenings.
The
that kind of
condos
thing.
that they have there, I don't know if they're for sale or for rent. I'm not entirely sure, but
Right.
they are beautiful.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
high end.
Yeah. All right, for those of you who don't know, that's right there at about Tatum and Cactus, and
Yes.
it is totally having
They
a
got a Cane's right
resurgence.
nearby, Ron. They
Do
got
they
a
really?
Cane's.
Okay.
We
Hey,
love Cane's.
Celeste, can you remember
Mhm.
the last time you went to a drive-in movie?
Oh.
Now, this was a thing at one time. If people are watching in our like under 30 crowd, they're like, "What do you mean? You get in your car
Yes.
and you hook up a box to the window and you hope it doesn't scratch it, and you're like 14 rows back behind other cars, and you
What's
watch a
going
movie?"
on? I think the last time was, I think the statute of limitations has run out. I
Okay.
think we had a pony keg, and I was in like 18.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the name of the guy? Do you want to reveal his name?
I don't
who
even
you were
remember.
dating?
I don't remember. I think it was a group of us.
Okay.
And we went to the one that used to exist off of the 202 by Tempe Town Lake.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? That was
Yep.
the old school one in South.
South
Scottsdale.
Yeah.
North
so
Tempe.
was that called the Scottsdale 6?
I
or
don't even
something like that?
remember.
Anyway, here's why we're talking about it. The last one of the valley is called the West Wind Drive-In. It's at about 55th Avenue and Camelback in Glendale. And they're going to have a free movie night. And it's double features. Wicked,
Wow.
Transformers, Sonic 3, Paddington in Peru. Shows you how far behind I am, Celeste. I didn't even know we had a Paddington in Peru movie. But
Well,
I might hop in the car and drive to Glendale.
I know what you're going to be watching.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, Jen's Wall says never been in a Sephora in the chat. And
Yeah.
I said, girl, don't do it. Don't
You'll
even
get
do
hooked. Okay, we are going to take a quick 2-minute break. By the way, the movies start at 8, the gates open at 6, and no tickets required. It's going to be first come, first serve. That is super cool. Hey, here's a city we love. At least I do. My home away from home up there in the great Northwest. We'll be Hey, everybody. So you are looking live at a really beautiful spring day up there in the great Northwest. That is Seattle. I remember as a kid, they were having the World's Fair back in the 1960s. And I had, I think she was my great aunt who lived in an apartment building right there on top of that's Queen Anne Hill, which looks down on the Space Needle in the city of Seattle. I remember the first time my dad turned a corner and it was right there in front of our eyeballs, and I just thought it was the most amazing structure. And it's still very iconic. And, the interesting thing is that I think it was either that year or the next year that the Beatles came to town for a concert, and they had a big parade for them in downtown Seattle. And it was Beatlemania, and that lasted for a good long time. Anyway, just looking at a couple more of your comments here. Jens Wall says, look, I'm from Michigan. We still have a drive-in theater, and they have a radio station for each screen with 5 screens. That is super cool. All right, so thanks for all your comments. And once again, for everybody who's watching, who's new with us today, we appreciate you and our regulars as well. By the way, Patricia's saying, good morning, everybody. Sorry for the delay. She had to hop into a meeting. But this is why I say we have the friendliest chat box anywhere online. We just love interacting with you guys, that's for sure. Okay, so story comes in this morning that unfortunately is not good news for the Valley's economy. We're such a boom town, and in good times and bad, we add 75, 85, 95,000 people every year. But right now, we can tell you, I'm sure there are going to be some nervous folks today working at Intel because Bloomberg just reported the company is going to be cutting another 20% of its workforce. So they don't know. And by the way, they are one of the biggest employers here in town. 12,000 employees work for Intel at their various campuses, and they're a worldwide renowned chip maker with a long history of success, but they are feeling like they have got to trim up their spending. And boy, that's going to impact. Unfortunately, I can't see how it won't impact at least some folks here in the Valley. So, we watch for that, for what's happening in the business world. But one of the things we've been watching today are the headlines that it's like bad news after bad news after bad news, and the market's doing nothing but going pretty much up. It was down about 200 points to start. It's currently up 421. I thought I would tell you a little bit as to why that is. There's so many pieces of bad news. Both American and Southwest, the 2 big airlines here in the Valley, said that they're concerned that traffic's going to drop off in the coming months because of a possible recession, but they just don't know for sure. So they've removed all their guidance. Then we heard from Chipotle. And for the first time since the pandemic, their same-store sales actually dropped compared to the year before. And that was something that kind of, that's a really popular eatery, and that was something that sent shockwaves through as well. But the reason the market's going up with all that bad news is there have been a couple of the members of the Fed who have indicated they might, if there's going to be a recession and people are going to start losing their jobs, and 12,000 at Intel announced today or thereabouts, 20%. So that's actually more than their 12,000. The whole thing is, if jobs are going to get cut, they may be more interested in actually lowering interest rates. So that's why the market's going up. Hey, we're all excited here because NFL Draft Day, it's been a long time since the Super Bowl, but we're ready for Draft Day. And we have all kinds of coverage coming up for you. Right here, by the way, on Fox 10 Talks, Richard Sines sat down with NFL insider Howard Balzer, who's been covering the NFL for almost 50 years, and they taped a show that's going to debut at 1 o'clock today on our YouTube channel. And here is a little more of their take on what to expect regarding one Cam Skattebo. We all want to know.
We always see one of the diamonds in the rough, right? Some steals. Tom Brady, 6th-round pick, right? 199th pick. Brock Purdy, Mr. Relevant, pretty relevant now. Kurt Warner, not even drafted. Could Cam Skattebo be that guy where people pass on him and then somebody gets him third, fourth, maybe fifth round? He ends up being one of those guys that becomes a game changer and a major contributor to a team. Where do you see him going, and what do you think he can do in the National Football League?
Great question. And I don't think he's going to last as long as the fifth round. Of course, you never know because you have certain teams that are looking for running backs, and there's a lot of really good running backs in this draft. And I know everyone talks about, oh, Cam's not that, he's not that fast. Well, the one thing about him is, though, his first 10 yards, and a lot of people don't realize this, that at the combine, everyone knows what the 40-yard time is, but they don't talk about what the guy ran in his first 10 yards or his first 20 yards. The teams look at that. Cam Skattebo was right there with all of the top running backs in this draft in his 10-yard split. So that shows in that first burst how good he can be. So I think he'll go third or fourth round at the latest, but it wouldn't surprise me, Richard, if there's a team that, and again, it depends on how the running backs go off the board. We always see it in the draft with runs at a position. I mean, last year at wide receiver, for example, you had the three guys started with Marvin Harrison Jr., who went in the first 3 picks. Then there wasn't the 3 in the first 9. Then the next receiver didn't go until 23 with Brian Thomas Jr. But once he went off, there were another 6 receivers that went by pick 37. And so that's what happens a lot of times. Once that first, maybe not the first running back with Genty, but once, that next tier of running backs starts to go, teams start picking them because they feel they want one and they don't want to take a chance of waiting. And so that could affect Cam in terms of when those running backs, when that run starts with running backs. But I think there could be a team middle of the end of the second round that they're looking at their team. They need a running back. They love what, the passion that he brings to the game. Wouldn't surprise me to see him go in the second round. But I still don't think the most likely thing is in the third or the fourth. But I'm saying it's going to be by the end of the third round that he's going to be selected.
Yeah, and I tell you, whoever gets him is going to get a great kid, a great character guy, and a smart player. And that's one thing that Kenny Dillingham has talked about when it comes to Cam Skattebo, is that you can line him up in several different positions. He's played quarterback. He's played in the slot. Of course, he plays running back, and he refuses to go down, and he's a guy that makes the people around him better. So that's going to be cool to see where he ends up. I have a feeling it's going to be a team like the Steelers, maybe the 49ers, which would be kind of tough for Cardinal fans to see. But either way, I just can't wait to see him, get into the National Football League and see what he could do, because he's a great kid and he deserves this shot. That's for sure.
So will Cam Skattebo end up being an Arizona Cardinal or a Detroit Lion or a Kansas City Chief? I hear, for example, by the way, John Netzel joins. Hey, Johnny.
Hi.
I hear that those are the three. You really, either you get to play for your hometown crowd or you get to play for Kansas City or Detroit, both of which are truly Super Bowl caliber teams. I mean, it could be an ideal situation wherever he lands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hey,
I'm just dragging John into sports
that's
talk
okay,
here.
That's okay. Sorry,
ladies and gentlemen,
caught me sleeping there.
if you haven't, by the way, we produce more and more content for you here on our streaming platform on Fox 10 Talks. And John has created this new show. I'm honored to be part of it as well. It's called The Great American Story. John, what's it all about, and where can people actually watch it?
Yeah, so I love history. I know you do too. We share that passion, and I always have a book going at home about something in American history. It just fascinates me, and so I thought, why not come up with a show that highlights the stories? There's so many rich stories in our history, and endless numbers of stories. So, and I know that you share that same interest. So. We've made this show, and you can catch it on fox10phoenix.com on our YouTube page.
Okay.
Scroll down about halfway down the page, and you'll see The Great American Story.
Yeah.
Click on it. There's a playlist, and our episodes come up on there.
Without further ado, I want to show people the set that here's the open.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a virtual set. But would you look at? I think we need to borrow your fireplace, John, and put it here in the streaming studio. That is like the coolest animation. And then when you look a little further, I'll give you a wide view here in a second. There you go. There's Johnny as well, and we got the portrait hanging up there on the wall for whatever topic.
Right.
And on episode number 1, we were talking about Abraham Lincoln, and it's entitled "A Night at Ford's Theater," an evening at Ford's Theater.
That's right. Yeah. So those panels, it's really cool the way they built that. Those panels change every week depending upon what our story is. And episodes drop every Monday. So you can catch a new episode every Monday. We're new into this. So episode 3 is going to drop this coming Monday. And you can also catch us on the Fox Local app on your connected TV at home. But we're diving into some cool subjects. This week we got a really cool one that we're working on. We're actually going to tape today, Ron, on Washington spies.
Yes.
On George Washington's spy ring, which is one of my favorite topics.
You know, if you go to Washington, D.C., you almost feel the presence of two men, Abraham Lincoln and George Washington.
Indeed. Absolutely.
And, because Washington's home is just down the river there at Mount Vernon.
Yep.
And really, he's the one that selected the site for our nation's capital. And then Abraham Lincoln, we talk a lot about our Ford's Theater episode and the capture of John Wilkes Booth and how there were so many things that went wrong that night. If even one of those things had gone right, it never would have happened and Lincoln would have finished out his term.
Yeah. And you're right. There are a lot of things in history that, maybe people don't really know about, the finer details. And that's kind of the fun of this show, is that we can dive into some of these things that people may or may not know about. And we got into a bunch of stuff about the Lincoln assassination. But the cool thing, too, is we're going to have a guest today on our taping. And he's the author of Washington Spies. He actually he wrote the book that became the series Turn. A very popular hit series from 2014 to 2017.
How's that for a claim to fame?
Yeah,
right?
and so it's cool. I think we're starting to generate some buzz, and it's really neat that people will come on and talk about these things, and it's just cool. There's just limitless numbers of topics too. So there's our social.
This is how you can find us right now. Like John said, you can go onto YouTube. You can find those episodes. You go to the Fox Local app. You can find it. And then this is how you connect with us on Instagram. The Great American Story, some underlines, and just The Story Fox. That's a great handle.
Yeah, it's cool. And we're just getting going, so it's cool. So
John,
come join us.
It's so great doing The Great American Story with you.
Appreciate it.
We have a quick break, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. town called Kelowna, British Columbia. And when I was a kid, I used to hang out there. I had an aunt and uncle. They owned an apple orchard further down this whole chain of lakes to the south. I mean, the lake, it's Osoyoos, is half in Canada and half in the United States. And so we would go up there and hang out in the summertime, and we go up to two towns. One's called Penticton, and the other is Kelowna. And they didn't have any high-rise buildings back in those days. It's really kind of become a boom town, and that is just one of the many cameras that we have for you from really all around the world. So we welcome you back to Fox 10 Talks. We're having a fun time today in the chat. Linda, for example, says, "Hey, Ron, John, hope to catch these programs." And we're just talking a little bit more about what we have in store for you. We have a lot of episodes that we're thinking about for the future. And it's kind of a casual approach to a couple of guys that love history and talking all about it. But like he said today, today's taping that you'll see next week is from a very high-profile author. And so that's going to be fun as well. Let me just see some of the other Linda, for example, was saying that. And Mr. Paul Valine, by the way, is jumped in, said he was running a little bit late. We love that this is, I guess what we call appointment television, or now we call it appointment streaming, where people will jump in and come be part of the conversation. That's part of what makes this so unique and so different from anything that you've really ever seen before. And that's why like yesterday, we had 10,000 views on YouTube. Every day, the word's kind of spreading. We are grateful for you guys. That is for sure. Hey, did you hear the latest on Jelly Roll? It doesn't look like he's going to have to do any hard time. And you're saying, hard time? What? Well, the Tennessee board has recommended that he be pardoned for crimes he committed when he was a younger man. The Board of Parole voted to recommend a pardon for the crimes for which he was released from prison nearly 10 years ago. You know, that's part of his backstory. I don't know if you're early or late to the growing fan club of Jelly Roll, but if you're not familiar, yeah, that was he had a rough life, that's for sure. So it looks like he's a major step closer to being granted a pardon for committing robbery there in Tennessee. Davidson County Sheriff Darren Hall said on Tuesday that the state board voted to endorse a pardon for, by the way, Jelly Roll's actual name is Jason DeFord, and he's 40 years old. And the reports that we're seeing was that the vote was unanimous. One member didn't vote. So under Tennessee law, the matter goes before the governor, who can grant a pardon or a commutation. And so Jelly Roll's criminal record, then, he's got multiple options. But as popular as that guy is and as good a guy as he really seems to be, I'm not going to be surprised if the governor goes right along with it. So another one of the stories we're talking about today has to do with Tim McGraw. He was in concert here in the Valley about a year ago. And I think people were not aware that he was in a lot of pain. And so he actually took off most of this last year because he now finally has gone through some surgeries and everything that was really kind of holding him back. Here is what we have learned about this today. He had to have surgery on both of his knees last August, which prompted him to cancel all kinds of concerts that have been lined up on various parts of the country. So he had to pull out of a Netflix series because at that point he'd already had the knee surgery, but he had to have back surgery. So this poor guy's been going through a lot. I follow him on social media. Maybe you do too. He's coming out with a new song every so often. Doesn't really talk very much about kind of his personal struggles, but we want to wish him the best. In fact, a source close said that he is, quote, in a hell out of a lot of pain now. Once the surgery is done, he needs months of recovery and therapy. That was earlier, just about a month or two ago, I believe. But it looks like he's on the mend and is going to be back out there That would be a great show to see. That's for sure. Hey, let's double check here with our look at this, would you? I feel like now that we're on an hour, we just get more and more votes on our poll question. And here is where we stand right now. So the numbers still keep moving around. We're now over 400 votes. If you're just, getting online for the first time today, sad to have to report that the deadliest attack on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, which took a number of lives, Russian drones and missiles were fired right into the capital city. 9 people killed. That death toll number could go up. And more than 60 people injured, including a number of children. So now the question is, what do you think we really ought to do? Because it's looking more and more like things are going downhill there. The president spoke this morning in the Oval Office. He still sounds optimistic and says, I think both sides really do want peace. And now 21% are saying, yeah, keep the peace talks going. I trust what he's trying to do. 31% say, just get out of Ukraine. It's not our fight. And then almost 40%, Celeste, I was just mentioning that the numbers are moving around here. Almost 40% say, even with a deal, Russia can't be trusted. So maybe don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That was a nice pun, Ron, considering we just celebrated Easter Sunday.
There you go. Sure. You know me, I'm into the puns. The other thing that we were talking about, Celeste, there's a story this morning that I can't wait to get your opinion on.
Yes.
So they're now saying that if you spend any time on ChatGPT.
I have. I actually love ChatGPT.
Do you? Yeah. Okay. They say, don't bother being nice to ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Be rude.
Sorta.
Okay.
Okay, so this is so strange.
Let's try it on
to
the
me.
phone right now. So what are we supposed to do?
Okay. Why don't you ask ChatGPT, hey, do you want to be nice? Do you want me to be nice to you today, or does it really matter?
Okay, let's see.
Can you ask it that?
Okay, let's see.
Here we go, everybody.
Hey, do you want me to be nice to you right now?
Or does it really matter?
Or does it really matter?
Good. Here we go. Yeah.
See what it says.
Sam Altman himself said, quit trying to be nice. But the thing is, you get on, what's the one that I like better than that? It's called Copilot. And I mean, when I get on there, the first thing it says is, good morning, Ron. What am I supposed to do? Not say good morning back to it?
Yeah.
So Altman claims that the more, Okay,
hold on. Okay, let's see.
Right,
I'll play it over again. This is the answer to the
Okay, this will be good. Ready? Okay, here we go.
Hey, I'm ready for whatever energy you're bringing. Be nice, be real, bring the chaos. I'll roll with it. So, what's happening?
See, they're being totally conversational. They want you to be conversational. Altman claims that it's eating up too many chunks of electricity.
Okay.
Because, it requires these big servers and everything. That's why they're building all these build-outs, of these huge warehouses and everything.
So he's complaining about his utility bill.
Well, basically,
like,
isn't he worth billions?
What is happening?
I know.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so, I always say good morning.
Yeah. Husky Mom says, I like the ChatGPT commercial. Cracks me up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, Ron, were you talking about the number of subscribers or viewers on one of our videos moments ago?
Oh, just that we had yesterday's show is already up over 10,000 views on YouTube.
So Mr. Paul Valine,
oh yeah,
he said that he does automotive AC work. He said he had like 1,200 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Ooh.
He said he does AC work and he takes care of customers and he helps them with their AC. So good for you.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot of subscribers.
Yeah, it is.
1,200.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah. So do you want to complain to ChatGPT?
No,
Ron?
but I don't care what Sam Altman says, and I'm sorry if I'm adding another 15 cents to your power bill by responding to a good morning with good morning. So
I asked ChatGPT, are you mad at me?
Okay, here goes.
Not even a little. I don't get mad. I'm just here to vibe with you.
Oh, I'm just here to vibe.
I'm just here to vibe with you.
Hey,
I love that.
Speaking of vibes, we are going to show you what might very well be the most awkward proposal that you've ever seen. And this guy, He's awkward. That's for sure. This is. Let me punch this up here. This is going to be VO9, so I got to go to a different page. To
Did
pull
she
it
say
up.
yes?
I hope she did.
Okay. Did
Gosh,
she
do I even
say
have
yes?
Do I
My
have a
goodness.
VO9?
I don't know. This is the best part of having this show.
Yeah. Let me punch this one and see what happens.
What is? Oh, that's a
No, that's Jelly Roll.
That's the best. That's the best line ever. Let me punch this and see what happens.
That's the stream.
That is the show,
Yeah.
people.
I don't think. I'm going to just lean over here. Do I have a VO9 or where do I find it, Bri? Oh, here it is. Oh, look.
Oh,
She's talking to her friend, and he like taps her on the back, and then she look. She's like, what? Look, I'm trying to
he's
talk
on
to
his.
my friend.
She turned
Look at that.
around.
He's
She
already
turned
down
her
on
back.
one knee.
How does this
And
happen?
he's like, what is going?
He's like, honey, hey, honey, I'm right here. I'm
Okay.
on my knee. He's like, my knee's getting sore. Can you please turn around?
Let's have the debate right now. Who's more in the wrong? She is or he is, because he's just sitting there. His timing is so awkward.
He's nervous.
Well, I
Ron.
know, but
I think it was just a case of mistaken situation. Like she was mistaken. She didn't think he wanted to do anything. And, you know, she's probably like, did you drop something? Why are you on your knees?
well, the bottom line is she eventually said yes. Look at that. She's like, why are you bothering me? Oh, you want to propose?
I always feel like the weirder it starts out,
Yeah.
the better it ends up.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. That's
You know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like on our wedding day for me and Gary, it was 115 degrees outside.
Right.
And we've been married almost 19 years.
It
so
can all
there you
work
go.
out just fine.
So Anita joins us now, right,
Yes,
Ron?
look at this, would you?
This.
Holy cow.
Hi.
I'm going to punch up the two-shot here, Bri.
I can't move him around
And,
too much.
Look at this. Would you stand by? We're going to punch up the two-shot. Somehow I've lost control.
Oh,
of my
here.
two-shot
We'll just put
button.
him right here. This
Okay.
is Scooter.
Here. Well, I can't even punch up. We just have. There we go. There we go. All right.
you got him?
Why do you have this guy here?
Well, the Phoenix Zoo is in, and they have an array of really interesting animals. They have a very special Earth Day weekend celebration coming up. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then it is Bring Your Child to Work Day.
Okay.
So we have a very special guest. And then we have some Drone Zone fun as well.
Oh, you
Yeah,
guys.
a lot
Ty
going
and
on.
Anita are coming up in 2 minutes. Hope you can stick with us for the next
And Scooter,
half
too.
hour.
Scooter.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, welcome back, you guys. This is the
Well,
one.
this
I don't
is
know
a
if you
first.
can see.
Hi. Let me
Oh
move
my
my
gosh.
laptop.
This is cool. Joaquin, what is this guy's naming?
This one here is Little Squiggy. We had Scooter,
Little
but Squiggy's going to do a better job on the table here just staying still with us. The other guy wants to explore way too
Scooter
much.
likes to scoot.
Scooter likes to scoot.
Scooter likes to scoot.
We charge the batteries far too well this time.
Joaquin with the Phoenix Zoo joining us
Hi.
this morning. Joaquin, thank you so much for coming in. We love when you guys come in because you always bring us fun, cool things to see. And what do you have in your hand? I don't know if you can hold
So
on.
where's
if
the
you
camera?
wanna
Where are we looking? Where
put
we
it right
looking?
in front of my face, and
Okay.
I'll.
Where are you going?
Oh my
So,
God.
right
Oh,
over here,
Joaquin.
this
Oh
is
my
a
gosh.
Western tiger salamander. Looks extra shiny, and that's because this little guy here is an amphibian, so they're gonna have really slimy and moist
Talk
skin.
into one of the mics for us,
sorry.
Joaquin. Yeah.
Perfect. They got really slimy and moist skin, so that's why he looks so shiny. And it's also why we have to be very particular with how we handle them, otherwise they can easily get sick.
So what, do you have to keep him, like, is he in like a little moist enclosure?
Yeah, so he's got a lot of
You
dirt.
got your mic
yeah.
there, sorry.
It's hard when you're handling salamanders.
There's God, I don't know
They're
what to do with my
slimy. They're
hands. There's a
slimy.
tortoise and there's a salamander there. No, the dirt in there is nice and damp, and it's made just for these little guys. That way they can always be kind of like moisturized.
So their skin will
Really?
make that moisture, basically.
Yeah, it's
Good.
like a mucus layer around them, and it helps them swim around, get around really fast, and escape predators.
Where are they native to?
You can actually find these here in Arizona and throughout like the western United States, and sometimes in Canada. But you will rarely see them because they like to spend time near the waters and in streams.
I love this.
Is-
Jen saying that the tortoise is looking right at
I know,
Anita.
hi.
Like,
What's her name? Skippy?
No, so this one right
Scooter?
here is Scooter.
No,
Scooter was over
Scooter
replaced.
left.
Yeah.
This
This is Squiggy.
Squiggy.
Squiggy is just staring right
the
at
reason
Anita.
the reason you're here, we celebrated Earth Day yesterday, but the zoo is going to keep celebrating Earth Day this weekend.
Yeah, so we have our big Earth Day celebration this weekend where kids get to do a lot of fun things out there. Of course, it's the zoo, so you got animals.
Yeah.
What's not to love there alone? But you got fun activities, the carousels out there. There'll be a lot of booths and fun things to do. I believe we also have face painting, so I'm going to get a nice lion painted on my face, you know.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it'll bring out my more
Yeah,
handsome
yeah.
side.
Yeah.
It'll really bring out those features,
Yeah.
right?
Go with that mane. Get the mane, yeah.
Yeah.
How much fun is this? Oh, hold on. Can they hear us? Yeah. Okay. These all say they're muted. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
They're missing out on everything.
No, they
Squiggy
said
has to
that
say.
we're- yeah.
Squiggy said so many things that we missed it.
Well, this is going to be so much fun. And what I love about this is that this is going to be all included with the admission price when you come to the zoo.
Yeah, you can. Let's say you showed up to the zoo, or if you're a member, you can just show up and have all the fun there ready for you already. There's no additional cost. Like, sure, you can spend money at the zoo, but if you just want to just enjoy what is the Earth Day celebration, go down there, have some fun.
And what I love about this too is it's nice to
I didn't move.
That was me.
Oh.
I put my hand down.
And you scared her.
I pressed a
that-
button.
She's going to go potty on the table. You know that.
all right. This is
Don't do potty.
Yeah.
oh, look at that camera shot.
Not
Look
the
at that.
mahogany.
Wow, here. Can we
Oh,
move?
that is cool. I think is that my monitor? Yeah, look.
Wow, look at that.
There we go.
So is
And-
that like when she retreated into her?
Yeah, I touched her little toe beans back there, and these are more sensitive parts for a tortoise because it's not like, armored. So since I brushed my hand there, she was like, "Ugh," and then
then-
stuck in.
And is it because she doesn't know you, or she just
It
automatically?
was just a big surprise. It's like
Okay.
if somebody walked up to you randomly and just like gave you a big pat in the back and you weren't expecting it.
Right, right.
So she was just a little bit shocked there.
How old is she?
I think we have her at what, 20 some years old again?
Wow.
Yeah.
Will she keep growing? Because I know some of these desert tortoises can just.
They can get pretty big, but they're not going to get anywhere near as big as the ones you see down at the Phoenix Zoo where we have Galapagos and Aldabra
That's it, yeah.
tortoises. Those guys are almost 500 pounds and they can live until like 200 years old.
Wow.
These guys get into like 60s, maybe 70.
The coloring is really pretty too. I don't know if it really tell on camera, but those browns and almost the greens. I'm colorblind.
I
Are those
have
greens?
a hard time telling their color because they live underground, so the dirt around them just kind of like cakes onto their shells
She's
and
pretty
starts.
clean.
Yeah, it starts. Well, that's years and years of dirt on that. I guarantee you, if you got like a wet rag and went like that, she'd probably be like purple.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. She wouldn't be purple, but they do
Bright
have that
yellow.
earthier
Bright
tone.
yellow.
But they also always kind of have like a dirty stain to them because they like to live underground.
Wow. And they're native to.
Here to Arizona.
Isn't that
Yeah,
incredible?
what's funny is that you could probably drive past these guys when you're like out hiking or just taking a walk, and you would never notice it because they spend most of their time underground.
What are they eating though? Because I mean, when you think of the desert,
There's
not a lot
much
of vegetation.
Well, they can't stop at
Jinx.
they can't stop at the local Starbucks or anything like that and get some food. These guys are actually going to go and get plant life. Any vegetation that they find, they can eat. They digest it pretty well, and they don't really need too much water because they actually get that water from that food source they're getting.
Huh.
Okay, I'm making sure the salamander's still in
salamander's still there?
I'm
Yeah.
just making sure we don't have a salamander on the run.
Can you imagine if we had a salamander on the
It
loose?
would
What
be
would happen
funny.
in this station?
We would run.
What, Salamander
hide.
Watch
Yeah.
2025.
I
Cancel all the
wouldn't be allowed to
newscasts.
leave until I brought a salamander back. I'd end up at the pet store like, please tell me you have a salamander.
Everybody
That
call.
matches, that
I
looks
know.
the
I
same.
know a place in Apache Junction actually.
We joked about it, like what would happen if we lost this little guy, but this one is super easy to ID because she actually has 6 little toes. And that's the way we ID this one. In the back, there's an additional little toe back there.
Okay, and how do you know it's a she?
So we don't know exactly. Yeah,
Oh.
we haven't actually done a full sex on these animals yet.
Okay.
But so it's just comes down to the individual. Like, is she a girl to you or a boy to you? I think the salamanders, we used to have one named Nubbin, and she was one of my favorite salamanders ever. So now every salamander is girl salamander.
Okay,
There
got
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
So we talked about Earth Day being yesterday, and we had was it yesterday? 2 days ago.
Monday.
So we were talking about plants and trees and how important those are to the environment, but animals just as much.
Well, you know what's funny is that this guy here is a perfect example for Earth Day because they do a lot of digging and burrowing in the wild. And when they burrow, they actually keep the soil healthy, and that turns into homes for other animals out in the wild as well. Once they move out of that burrow, it becomes available to an animal that maybe can't dig as effectively.
Joaquin, do they have predators?
Not
Out in the-
really.
okay.
No.
They're pretty much built like tanks. Now, their biggest threat are people and people building on top of their homes themselves. When they're really little, they are vulnerable. But once they reach this stage like this, they're fully armored, they're underground, and they're safe. I mean, the big animals we have out here in Arizona, coyotes, let's say a little bit further north, you see mountain lions, bears. Even then, once these guys are underground, they're totally safe. Their biggest threat, unfortunately, is cars that'll drive over them and things like that.
Yeah. Are these the ones that people will find and then they adopt and they take them into their backyard and they don't realize how much? Well, because that is a problem here, and they don't realize how much care these guys need.
And how long they actually live
Yes.
to. Yeah. I mean, nowhere near as long as the Galapagos do, but still a long commitment. And these guys are, like I said, amazing diggers. So you can have them in your backyard, and all of a sudden you see a hole underneath your wall.
And then they're
And
in
they're in your
neighbor's
neighbor's
They're in
yard.
the neighbor's yard or they're in the park. And then, you find out there's a tortoise on the loose. And believe it or not, they're faster than you think. Like, sure,
Really?
it doesn't look like it, but you ignore them, and all of a sudden they're down the street.
Really?
Yeah.
Michael Lewis chimed in and said, Squiggy needs Lenny to be complete. Man, am I old. That is a good one. Oh, my goodness. How cute is that? Salamander Watch 2025. We're getting an LOL.
Where do you keep these at the zoo?
So this is an ambassador animal. So we
Okay.
actually have a backstage area where we keep all our animals that we take to like the news, to schools, and they live there. But we kind of have like a tortoise apartment complex that we like to call it, or tortoise condos. So they all individually have different yards, and they have their own little hut where they sleep, their own food, their own water, but it's all in one area. So we call it like the tortoise condos.
They're living their best life.
Absolutely. They have their neighbors down there and everything. But they get to go out all the time. These guys are popular animals, and they're so easy to bring over.
I was at the zoo a couple weeks ago, and we opened the brand new
Oh, yeah, I
big
think we have video of it,
cat
actually.
exhibit, and I wanted to share that with everyone because you were very excited. You
I'm still pretty stoked about it.
You love the big cats. We're going to see, these are the lion cubs. We can talk about them as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that?
This is the
Sorry.
this is the new exhibit. Okay. How's everyone doing?
So everyone's acclimating super, super well. Our girl, Kaipora, our female jaguar, she's climbing up and down that bridge back and forth.
And she's in her 20s.
She's 19 and a half years old. She'll turn 20 in September, and you couldn't even tell. This girl is
No.
just doing backflips out there, jumping up these ramps. It's honestly nuts when you tell people she's 20 years old.
She loves it.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Honestly, she's such an amazing cat. And then we have Mystic, who's our mountain lion, and she's also doing really, really well. The biggest issue with her, though, is that her coloration is like brown, and she blends in so well with her habitat. So guests are like, I can't see them, but she's literally like right in front of
Yeah,
you.
we had
And
that.
It makes a really good learning opportunity. You tell people, hey, there's mountain lions right there.
Okay, so tell everyone who this is.
So that one right there is Kaipora.
Okay.
That's our 20-year-old jaguar.
She is beautiful.
She's
Look at her.
incredible. Ty, when we were out there live, on the other is that where the little pool is?
That's not the pool
That's
side.
the other
Yeah.
side. So they have this beautiful little waterfall, like little pool. And right as we were going live, she decided, I'm turning it on. And she started walking around the area. And then she walked up the stairs across that skywalk, which is so neat because you can look up and you see them walking across.
I remember your live shot and how many people. I mean,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a huge draw.
it's a great vantage point.
It was standing room only that day. I remember that. It was a grand opening.
And then you have another
our male, that's Saban right there. So he's got the pool. He's got the pool side of the new jaguar habitats there, and he's also doing pretty well. We haven't seen him take a dip yet. I think we're waiting for it to get a little bit warmer, and then we're all just gonna sit there, kind of being like Saban, 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 and then hopefully he does his backflip and go in there.
They're great swimmers.
They're fantastic swimmers. Not a lot of people know this, but they're probably more efficient swimmers than tigers are. These guys, jaguars, are one of the best animals because they will literally climb, they run, they swim. There's no getting away from a jaguar if they want to get to you.
Wow.
Those are so cool.
Okay, those lion cubs, which I know are your loves. You have a really cute story about the lion cubs. They have grown so much.
That is them at 3 months old.
Okay.
So they were probably about maybe 40-ish, 30 pounds. They're really dense. They're about 163 pounds now.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. I thought we had updated video.
No, well, you know.
No, this is cuter.
It's still cute.
No offense. They're all cute.
Oh, is this new video right there?
No, that is their first
Mama.
day out right there. That is when they came out for their first time ever. And gosh, oh, man, it's going to make me tear up looking at them that small.
Well,
you're like a proud papa.
He is, because Joaquin said that he was showing me pictures. You go over and you have a little ritual with them every morning.
Well, you know, Jasiri likes to chase. That boy is so playful. If I run around, he'll just chase me back and forth, and he'll just kind of sit there. He'll sneak up on you and everything.
To the glass.
To the glass.
To the glass.
Yeah.
They play together that way.
And that's him again. That's him at 2.5 months, 3 months old. Usually even smaller. Oh, you guys are gonna make me cry in the air.
You
what are you doing?
You are getting emotional.
Oh man. Well, they're so big now.
Do you want me to take it off, Joaquin?
No, I love them. I love them so much.
Oh my gosh. What a joy it is to work at the zoo. How did you get into this?
You know, it's one of those things like when you're really, really young, you always know you want to work with animals. Like that's your thing. You love them. And I didn't honestly see a future working with animals because I was like, well, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever be able to do that. But, you know, after I got out of high school, I actually went into the Air Force. And then once that part of my life was done, I kind of sat there and I was like, well, what brought joy into my life? And there was a summer job at the zoo, like a seasonal one. And I'm like, I'll just make some quick cash over there. The moment I stepped into the Phoenix Zoo, that was about 8 years ago, I realized this place is amazing. We're doing so much awesome work here. I've moved from different positions since then, but I knew that was home.
Linda is saying, love the big cats. Lisa says they're gorgeous. Husky Mom says, how does the zoo avoid the tortoise from digging
in mind,
out?
We only have 45 seconds to answer
and
this.
wondering, okay.
How do they not break out?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They have pretty much the bottom of their habitats are dug to the point where they can't go in and out of it, so it's fully secured like that. And if they do get out, we're pretty timely, you know? Okay. They won't get too
far.
They won't
get too far.
30 seconds.
All right, I'm going to pull this back up.
Yeah,
if you want to hang out.
Go to Earth Day, guys. It's going to be super fun. There's going to be a big blast out there. Check out the new Big Hats habitat because you get to see that as well and just enjoy all the awesome activities on Earth Day.
Thanks
Joaquin,
to
thank you for
Squiggy
coming
and Scooter.
Yeah.
And
we have little Mattel down there.
Mattel.
Yeah.
She's
She's
been very
great.
chill. Yeah. She can just stay. All right.
Welcome back. This is Austin.
It is bring your work to
Bring your
work
to your child day.
It is bring your child to work day. So we thought we'd ask Jasmine if she wouldn't mind bringing in her baby. And introduce, who is this?
This is Austin.
Hi,
He's
Austin.
1 year
You want
old.
me?
You want Ty?
Oh no,
No,
he's
I
gonna
think he sees
he's
his
gonna
dad.
scream.
Look.
He's gonna
Look.
scream.
Oh, look,
how
there
cute!
you are. Can you see yourself up there?
Look, that's Austin.
I'm hiding this cute face.
Are you on TV?
Look, you see him?
Hi.
you wave?
Wave to everybody.
Hi. Oh, he's like, I don't know what's going on
Oh, look,
here.
yeah, zoom in.
I don't know. Okay,
There
we
he
had
is.
while you guys are looking at cute Austin, we had this VO this morning. Nearly 3/4 of American moms with kids under 18 are part of our workforce. Not all states offer the same level of support. A report by Wallet Hub reveals that the states that are best for moms, Arizona came in 39, you guys. The state scored low in childcare, work-life balance, outperformed states like Alabama, which ranked last. Meanwhile, the top states include Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Minnesota.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I found some stats here about how bring your child to
You're
work.
covering
Oh,
Austin's
sorry,
cute
Austin.
face.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How
But he's-
it all became
Okay.
a thing. It became Take Your Daughters and Sons to Work Day, now commonly referred to as Bring Your Child to Work Day, originated in New York City in 1992, and now it's become a thing.
Hi, buddy.
I grew up going to work with
oh,
my
thank
mom
you.
my
Thank
whole
you so
childhood.
much.
It
Really?
was one of the highlights of my childhood.
You said, what'd your mom do?
She worked at a school.
Okay.
So in the front office. So that's how I got to be interested in work.
And I said to you, I'm like, so you skipped school to go to school?
Yeah, it was an excused absence, but it was like way cool because it was middle school and it was in the front office.
It was a little bit cooler than the others.
We're getting a lot of comments about how cute your baby is. Gina says Phoenix is a stupid city. And I think, oh, my goodness. Okay, we have a lot going
Austin,
on.
what do you think about that comment? Show
Well,
me your middle
I
finger.
think that I would imagine Gina will probably elaborate, but I think she's talking about just some of the numbers, and it's not always easy going back in and working. And Husky Mom says, "Oh, such a cute baby."
Sorry, Austin.
Oh, he is a boy. He is a boy.
Here, you wanna play with
Linda
this?
says,
Play
"Hi,
with
Jasmine and Austin." It's not easy. How do you transition from mom to work to mom to work?
It's nonstop. There's no off time.
We see that.
Yes, and I actually have I had some stats and some fun facts that I wanted to quiz you
share with
guys
us.
on.
Okay,
Yes.
we're ready for it.
Disclaimer,
Is this a
though,
quiz?
It's a quiz.
Okay.
It's a quiz.
But stay-at-home moms work just as hard.
They can't
I
hear
want
you.
Stay-at-home moms work just as hard. I wanted that
Yes,
disclaimer,
absolutely.
but because I work out of the office, those were the fun facts that I found.
Okay.
So here's the quiz. So, how many hours a week do you think a working mom clocks?
How many
A week?
hours
Yes.
145.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I would say more.
Yeah.
A week, 220.
All right, you guys are very generous. 98, according to
Oh,
a study done by Welch's.
We just want to be on your good side.
But it's the equivalent of working 2.5 full-time jobs.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
He's actually, you're doing a.
Oops.
You got a little drool on your hand there, Ty.
Austin's also close to not napping, so when I get home, there's no breaks.
There's no downtime.
No.
There's no break. Yeah.
No, it's all go.
Husky Mom says, I used to love going to work with my dad during the summer breaks. Would love to know what dad did, Husky Mom, that you were able to go for the whole summer. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Me? What, my
No,
dad?
Husky
her
Mom.
dad.
Your
oh,
mom
her
worked
dad.
at a school.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. With the quiz.
Okay,
I like this. I
let's
like
see.
this.
Of those 98 hours, how many hours do you think they spend taking care of the family?
70.
Well, you're working 40 and
Yeah, you're working your 40 at work.
Oh.
so
and
the other
then-
40.
Yeah.
Well, you take a
80.
little time to yourself.
Take away, like, not chores, just like taking
This is a hard
care of
quiz,
the
Jasmine.
baby.
So I'm going to guess you maybe spend like 5 to 10 hours on yourself, and the remainder will be on the family.
Okay, according to a Harvard study, women spend 17 hours per week caring for family members.
Huh.
While
give
the
us-
husbands
Oh.
only take care of family members for 9.
Oh, her husband is
Jasmine's
standing on the
husband is
side right there.
and he's going like this. What the heck?
Of those 98, how many do you think they spend on chores?
20.
Sure.
Close, 18.
Okay.
Can we get an
Husbands
easy-
only do 8.
Oh.
Do you want him to grab him? Do you want him
It's
to?
fine.
Okay.
Hey, Ty.
These were from Temu.
Give
It's
the-
fine.
Sorry,
Give
Mike.
the
Okay.
child
Yeah.
back.
You want
Give
to-
the child back to his
No,
mother.
We're doing great.
All right. Another thing. Do you think that having a working mother outside of the home affects your child's development? True or false?
No, my mom worked. I don't think. I think it's good. I mean, the kids.
Yeah, so you
I
think it
it's
does
good.
have
I think
an
it's a good
effect.
thing, Yeah.
Look, Mom's right
Okay,
there.
mama.
Go with Dad.
Go, Dad. Now we're putting you to work, Dad. Now we're putting you to work. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, according to a study, it does have a positive effect on us if we have working mothers outside of the home. It teaches us responsibility. Oftentimes, kids have higher wages because they just see their parents and they want to emulate
Like
them.
I can see that.
So, yeah.
Did that stress you out when he like?
Yeah, well, because I don't want him to cry. I don't want people to be like, ugh, a crying baby.
I'm just wondering because you
People
have
in this newsroom are used to working with these two crying babies every day, so it's fine, Jasmine.
I'm like, get him out.
because there's a lot of multitasking.
Yes.
There's just a lot going on.
Which leads me to my other fun
Oh,
fact.
here we go.
Okay, true or false? A mom's brain shrinks during pregnancy.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to answer
True.
that. I'm gonna say no. I bet if it gets bigger and you get
True.
smarter and more beautiful.
True.
Right, Jasmine?
Mom brain is a thing,
True.
but it's to benefit us being moms. It's like to tune our instincts for the crying, the maternal things,
Okay.
all the things
Everything
we have
that's
to
happening.
juggle. Yeah.
There you go.
And it takes about 6 months to 2 years for us to get back to our normal brain
Really?
size.
So you still have a little time.
Yeah.
Another
So if
year.
I'm slow or a little dumb, it's not my fault.
It's
'cause I'm a mom.
Your mom brain is still kicking.
Yes.
Well, Jasmine, I think you are a great full-time mother, or not full-time mom. Well, you
Well,
are a full-time
yeah.
mom, but you're also.
I don't think
I do it all, Ty.
I don't think she.
Well, I meant you know what I mean.
You get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday this week.
Yeah.
Thursday,
Kudos
Friday
to
next
Grandma
week.
for being the
Yes.
caretaker
Yeah.
while I'm here taking care of you
Ah,
guys.
your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
thank
Well,
you.
thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Happy.
Thanks for having me.
Nash, bring your kid to work
Yes.
day, or bring your work to kid day.
Do you want to come in one more time and say bye?
Say bye, Austin.
Say bye to everyone. Wave. Bye.
He's like, no. Okay,
like,
we're gonna
"Peace
play
out."
some video.
Yeah, we have some
Um,
beautiful video real quick for you. Let me
You
pull
got it?
up. There we go. This is a
Okay.
beautiful drone zone, you guys. This is from their latest drone zone that they just easy for me to say, right? So we brought in the big guns here, Mr. BK, part of
going
the
on?
drone zone team, joining us this morning on Fox 10
morning.
Talks.
Darren Lloyd from Deltona, Florida, is also joining us.
Oh, cool.
Good morning.
Hello.
Well,
Good
maybe
morning,
let's
good
play
morning.
more video so he can see how beautiful
Yeah,
Arizona
that's a
is.
great idea.
And while we're looking at this, BK,
Yes.
what are we looking at?
Well, this is Page Springs up in Cornville. This is Horsing Around Adventures. We took the drone out there. They do horseback riding out in the vineyards of Page Springs, the Mingus Mountains.
Rewind for us. For people,
All right.
people who are not familiar with the area,
Okay.
how far is Page Springs from the Phoenix metro area? How long of a drive is it? How are you getting there?
It's about an hour and a half.
Oh, that's not
Up
bad.
to 17.
Doable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty doable.
Okay.
There and Page Spring has tons of vineyards, so you go
Yeah.
there for the vineyards. Go drink some wine.
So you're
and then go
recommending
to,
people get drunk and then ride.
No,
some
no, probably
horses.
ride your horse first,
and then drink because okay.
I don't know, or you could probably try to drink your wine while you're riding.
While
the
you're on
horse.
the
now that's
horse,
some
that's a
talent.
great
that
idea.
That might something.
No, this
Look
is
at that
this
sky.
is
Wow.
breathtaking though. This is beautiful.
Oh yeah, this is wonderful.
Is
This
that you
like
on the
God's country
horses?
up here? No, we were flying the drone at this time. But yeah, this is the Horsing Around Adventures horse stables here. And like I said, they take you out like amongst the hills and the Mingus Mountains and the vineyards, and you go up like a group like that. It's amazing. Amazing.
While you were up there filming, were you
And look at the
able-
clouds.
I-
Those
that's
are
what I was
like
saying,
It
the
looks like
sky-
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna
it's
say like
beautiful.
those puffy white clouds.
Were you able to ride a little bit while you were up there just to experience
And
that?
they were working.
I
Yeah,
said
we
when they
were
were done with the
working.
drone, were they able
They
to
are
get some ground shots?
hard-working.
We got some ground shots.
See, they
of the
got
horse.
some ground
Yeah,
shots.
yeah.
Sometimes you get on the horse with a GoPro to
We
get
actually
a little
put
video.
the GoPro on one of the cowboys,
Uh-huh.
and he's from the UK.
Oh, cool.
And he was a very great cowboy, and you'll maybe hear some of him in the drone zone
Oh,
today
that's
when it
cool.
airs at 4:00.
This is on one of my bucket lists is to go up to this particular area because I've never been up there. You could really spend a whole day up there doing
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
adventures out there. Like you mentioned, people don't think of Arizona as being a wine growing region either.
No.
But they've got all of those beautiful cellars as well.
They've got a lot of vineyards up there. We went to Page Springs Cellars
Yeah.
up there, and we droned that as well. That's going to be another future drone zone. So a little teaser there.
Like it.
And then we went to the Horse and Around Adventures. And,
How long do they take you out on that horse and around adventure? Or does it just you can choose different?
You can choose different. I think there's like an hour
It's
to
a
2
choose
hours.
your horse adventure.
Yeah,
Choose
choose
your
your own
own
horse
adventure.
ride adventure. Yeah.
How long? I mean, is it on average like 2 to 3 hours, or what?
I would say
what would you budget?
about an hour and a half for like the short version, and then 2.5 for the longer.
How long have
version.
you guys been droning?
Oh my gosh, I've been droning since 2018 now, so a long time.
I've been on a couple of pieces with you. We went.
You're a visual observer.
I am a visual. So
Ty,
we're
are you?
I'm a
You're
vi-
Yeah,
thank
we're
you
both
much
okay.
for
So
asking.
why don't we tell everybody what visual observers
We watch that drone
do as part of
so
the
it
crew
doesn't fall
for the
out
drone
of the
pilot?
sky. And the
Okay.
first question is, did you get 8 hours of sleep? Did you eat breakfast?
Have breakfast. Do I have any
And
medication?
Are you on any
Do I have any
medications?
alcohol?
Any
No.
alcohol?
No.
But what I was going to ask
That's why Anita doesn't do many VOs
you.
because she doesn't get
Because
8
I-
hours of sleep.
No, he needs 8 hours of sleep.
Oh,
My job is to
She's
ask him.
Well, you can't be drinking or on pills
I don't
while
drink.
we're doing this.
I don't
I
drink.
know. Well, I'm just saying, like the whole crew, we have to make
What are
sure
you saying,
that
BK?
we're
Anyway,
all in
let's
good
just
minds
let
to
me
fly
say
the
this.
My
drone.
What is this?
My question is,
Yeah.
when you started this adventure, which was really a new chapter for Fox 10, the drone zone,
Yeah.
did you ever anticipate seeing the beauty and experiencing
No,
all
this
of
is
these?
that's the great
some of
thing
the
about
places
the
you get to
drone zone.
explore.
We go all over the place. I always say we go from the Ponderosa Pines to the Sonoran Desert, all across the state of Arizona.
1 minute left.
Oh wait, is
Show
this where the
everyone your
turtle
zone.
was?
Yeah, we
cleaned
cleaned
it.
it.
Okay.
It was clean.
All right. Well, I figured we have a turtle, we have a baby. I brought the drone. I brought
This is
something.
your
else.
baby.
Yeah, this
That's
is my
your
baby. So
baby. We think way too
this
much
is the
alike,
drone
Ty.
right here, and I'm going to extend the propellers out.
Let's fly it in here.
Oh, no.
Well, you
I-
know,
You
we,
could, couldn't
we,
you?
We could, but
Okay.
should we?
No. Well,
We could. We
Have
could.
you put a request in for a flight path?
No. So
Okay.
we'll next time.
Next
time we'll do
Where's
it.
the camera?
The camera's right here, and these are the sensors. So the sensors will detect if there's anything in the drone's way or if I'm too close to something. So there are features on it, safety features, that will allow the drone to brake or to bypass and
We've
get
got
around
about
different
15
obstacles.
seconds left.
Okay,
When's
so
your next drone
watch
zone?
the drone zone.
When?
It's going to be on Fox 10 at 4 p.m. today, and then it'll be on the fox10phoenix.com